Layla. Good. Layla. Good girl. Good job. Good girl.
Sorry.
Layla. Good girl. Good job. Layla. Good girl. Good job, girl. And these are the chicken jerky treats that I'm using. She really likes them. So I'm just trying to get some eye contact from her. I need her head kind of up here more. I'm not really asking her for anything else. I want her to look away so she can respond to her name by looking back at me. Layla. Good girl. And this is just strengthening her name, putting a positive spin on it, positive association. So her name means something good. Layla. Good girl. Good job. And the size treats is roughly this big. You see that? That's how big the treat is. It's not necessarily huge. It's not a whole handful. This is it. It's a little piece of treat. They're all roughly the same size. You know, some a little bit, bigger or smaller, but roughly around the same size. It doesn't have to be a whole handful or 17 or big chunks. They're little. But Layla, good girl, let's go, girl. Good job. Come on. Good girl. Good job. And so I just get her in that routine inside, then we kind of go outside. We practice it. Layla, sweetie, let's go, girl. Come on. Let's go. Good girl. Layla. Good. Layla. Good girl. And so I click immediately when she gives me that. That's when I click. Layla. Good girl. Perfect now. She's sniffing. She's kind of in this little zone here. Layla. Sweetie. Good. All right. Good job. She only gets rewarded by looking back at me. Layla. Good girl. job. Good. Good girl. See the nudging of my hand? Doesn't work. I ignore any and all that stuff. Any kind of persistent on, hey, click again, give me some more treats. None of that stuff works. She only gets treats when I call her name and she looks back at me. So, Layla. Good girl. So I say it once, I blow some kisses, I try to encourage. After about 10 seconds, I may say it again. Continuously, her name, and then she's still not looking at us after we say 3 or 4 times. It's not really going to work that way. If we have to say her name 7 or 8 times just to get her to look at us, it's not strong. It's not thorough enough. So we break it down back to a basic here. All else fails if she doesn't have solid name recognition in various environments. This is also teaching her how to learn. So as I'm doing now, we're basically in your kitchen area, whatever, and I call her back and forth. I wait for her to look away and then try to call her name, because she's already looking at me, then she's already looking at me. I kind of want her to physically try to redirect her attention back at me when I call her name. Layla. Good girl. I call her name, and she's, if you just notice there, she was kind of in my space. She was real kind of pushy, just a little bit pushy. But when she walked away, I called her to me, and that's what I want. I want her to get used to the idea of coming to me means good things. When we call her name, it means something good for her. This helps with the basic recall and name recognition. In and around distractions. I do practice outside. It's very kind of weak outside. She doesn't even really hear the clicker a lot outside, or even name. So she's still trying to invade my personal space. Uninvited. Remember I said that, uninvited. So it's like all this is hers. She can just kind of do as she pleases, because it's hers anyway. She's gonna get it anyway. So I need my space. All humans, everybody has their own little personal space. Obviously she has her personal space. Why can't I have mine? So I'm doing it without force. Layla. Good girl. Come on here, girl. Good girl. Good job. Good job. And that's it. There we go. And like I said, this is like this. Not all dogs are like this. Some dogs can nudge and get petted and still be okay, and still not display some of the things that Layla's displaying, like her growling, showing her teeth, and resource guarding and such. Some dogs can kind of handle that, and in her case, she can't handle it. She can't handle that. The way how she nudges, she's persistent. So therefore, we have to change something. I mean, some dogs go through their whole life being pushy, insisting on attention and stuff like that, but never really display this type of aggression toward people. So she can't really handle it appropriately in human context. Now you think of resource guarding as an innate, inherent behavior. It's a survival behavior amongst animals. What happens is, in the wild, a dog would literally starve to death if it allowed other things, other animals, even other dogs, to take something from it. So resource guarding is innate and it's animalistic, but in human world, in our houses, it's not very appropriate, because it's like, dog, you get all the food you want. We give you all these things, but it's still like a part of the dog's like mentality, and it's inherent to where it's a survival tool. So if I was able to take things from a bear or a wolf, then that wolf will not survive. It would die. So they have to guard a resource in order to live. But these are wild animals, and the dogs, and most dogs do it. Whether it be to the extreme or to the most mildest, as far as maybe just growling, or their body language will tighten up, will get real stiff. These are maybe the more milder. The more extreme would be snapping, barking, like grabbing hold of clothes, or actually puncturing skin, mauling, to try to grab a resource. So but most dogs do display some sort. To what degree, I guess, depends on the dog and the situation. So she's definitely a work in progress. This is day 3 here, and it's a progress, and she's progressing rather slowly, but not the slowest. So it's just rushing into it, we could miss something. We want to be as thorough as possible. In certain cases, especially this one here, to make sure that we kind of cover all bases. We have our obedience. We have some sort of kind of stronghold on what's kind of going on. We are educated. We're all on the same page, and we want to be as thorough as possible. Sure, it may be moving a little slowly, but it's really too also, it's on the dog. There is no cookie cutter way to train every single dog there is. If there was, then I'd be out of a job, because everybody would know it. But the training a dog comes into the personality of the dog, characteristics, personality, motivation, and each dog is an individual. Therefore, it has its own individual taste, personality, just like each human being. So it's just figuring out her to quicken the pace. I gain a lot of knowledge from you guys, so that helps a lot. So and here she is. She's just laying down, chilling right now. That was basically a session there, and most of this was just me talking. But the session consists of me calling her back and forth about 12 or 15 times, getting her into that habit of her name, she looks, quick treat.